Good morning to you and welcome to the Brightside with Carol and Lavinia on International Women's Day. And we're joined in the studio by a very talented young businesswoman, a Singaporean artist. She's a chocolatier. She's a chef, entrepreneur. Welcome to the studio, Janice Wong.
Hey, welcome.
All right. So Janice, you've also won multiple awards. You've been named Asia's best pastry chef 2 years in a row by the world's 50 best restaurants. You've also been named Her World's Young Woman Achiever. Oh my gosh, we're so excited to hear about how this journey began, actually.
Yeah, that's right. I've read that you went on this life-changing trip in Australia, and that's how this whole, idea, this whole business, this dessert restaurant actually came about. Can you tell us about that life-changing trip?
For sure. I think in Singapore, I've always lived in a city. And, we don't really get to actually go out to the farms. And when I was doing my exchange program in Australia, it was just beautiful, just being out there in nature and smelling and tasting different notes. And, some of the notes that I picked out, you can never find it here in Singapore, such as grassy notes, earthy notes, smoky. This is 17 years ago. It blew my mind, just having these natural flavors. And I said, I got to bring that experience to people in Singapore. I got to think different, redefine food. And I guess my calling was always into redefining something, whether it was desserts, art, whether it's something different. And, for us, we're innovators. We are making changes all the time. And I always never feared to make mistakes.
Yeah.
Always learning, asking for advice, and also really pushing the boundary. So this was the perfect entry into this world of desserts where I found a space in the humble Holland Village, and it's still there today. And 2 a.m. Dessert Bar was born, and I found that space to be able to express our creations.
It's so interesting because this is something that I've noticed about you. You've had this spirit of inquisitivity, this curiosity about life and flavors, and how all this is now kind of like tied up so beautifully in your work, with the starter labs, your collaborations and all that. Did you ever envision that your brand would be as huge and successful and that it would go beyond Singapore when you first started out?
Well, I think at the age of 24, I knew that we needed to build a brand. We needed to, I would say grow the brand out of this city. And it was difficult, of course. I mean, being a woman and very young, that was the biggest challenge in itself. But that being said, we were very, very focused with our products, with what we believed in. And we kept telling our story. And as more and more people heard our story, it opened up a lot more doors. And I'm happy that, we've managed to enter a few cities. And, we will continue that spirit.
Where are you currently in? Like which cities? We were talking about London off air. You're opening a store there. What gives you the confidence to open up a store and not be there to fully manage it all the time? How does that work?
Well, I think London's a great city to be in, and of course, we were very blessed to have a spot in Selfridges. So we have a chocolate shop there, and you can see everyone around us. They're from Belgium, France. You have your Pierre Hermé, Pierre Marcolini. I kid you not.
Wow.
You have Lauderay. So they're really the best of the best. I think for us, we come from very humble Singapore, but we are different. And I think what sets us apart is food and art. I guess, all these years we've focused so much on the artistry of food and confectionery that no one else has really pushed the boundary in that sense.
But thank you so much. I mean, you're there amongst all those famous brands. You are representing Singapore. Thank you for that.
Yeah, putting us on the world map.
I hope so.
We've gone through this whole list of all your accolades, your awards, highly awarded, and so young, somehow. Is there an award that you are particularly proud of or that is extra meaningful to you?
Yeah, I guess, now looking back, the award that resonated most with me and I thought inspired the most was also the Young Women Achiever Award. Even though it was a local award, it meant a lot because you have this platform to actually inspire other women. And it was at that time, 10 years ago, 12 years ago, you're looking at young women trying to make their mark in different industries. And what Singapore had was the community to give them these platforms to inspire, to connect. So it was a fantastic memory that I had.
Wow, definitely. So much you can tell, right, from Janice, the humility. And it's something that I've known about Janice for many years ago when we first met. I think in like the mid 2000s when she was first starting out on her journey. I think she had just come back from Le Cordon Bleu in France, and she had this amazing ability to create desserts, and she was cooking for us, and she gathered up a bunch of friends and she says, you know what, I want you to be as constructive as possible, as critical as possible. Good, tell me good, bad, tell me why, what you don't like about it, what you love about it. I just want to improve, and this spirit of like wanting to be excellent and wanting to be better and being so humble at receiving, feedback has just propelled her, to so many places all around the world, and, given her awards as well and recognition among our local community and on the world stage as well. So well done, Janice. You've come such a long way. Now, if you want to find out what's happening with Janice, join us on Facebook and YouTube. We're on facebook.com/1FM91.3. We're going to be having a fun little chat with her off air as well. And we'll be back with more on air in just a few moments. Keep it right here. It's 1FM.
Good times. Greatest hits.
1FM 91.3.
Daikin celebrates.
Oh, water.
Hydrate.
Oh, we've got
Where did that
traffic.
come from?
I know I got my producer to bring it down. Some cool water.
Oh, two questions for Janice.
Oh, great. Listen, you want to take
Oh,
it off air?
Gurmit, yeah. Gurmit is asking, how do you make the perfect caramel? We will be opening a shop in Punggol for the Heartlanders to experience the joy that you bring. How do you make caramel? Is there a secret? What's the secret?
No, I mean you put some sugar in there with some water, and then you kind of just leave it. Don't touch it at all until it turns to a caramel state.
What is the
And
proportion?
after that- I would say about 100 grams of, say, sugar, about 10 grams of 10 ml of water.
Okay.
And then after that, you put cream, about maybe 40 grams of cream in there,
Okay.
and then butter.
That's
It's
it?
all about butter.
Oh my goodness.
all
I
those
just
yummy
discovered this year what
ingredients.
butterscotch actually is. It's just literally butter and sugar, right?
Oh, really?
That's all it is.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
Yeah.
Oh.
I thought it was this like strange
me,
concoction or something.
It was magical. It's just magic, right?
Yeah. Government wants to also know, are you going to be opening a shop in Punggol? For Heartlanders. Hey, Punggol is opening up, huh? Punggol
Yeah,
Waterway.
it's fantastic.
It's
but,
beautiful there. Yeah.
Not at the moment. I think we're extremely focused right now on our overseas markets.
Okay.
So a lot of all hands on deck on these markets.
All right. That's how we get Singapore on the world map, by
So,
sending
Gurmit.
people like Janice out.
Yeah. So Gurmit, maybe not Punggol, but maybe Pulau Ubin, because still got a bit
But
of
if
water.
you need help, I think Gurmit will want to help in Punggol.
for
No
sure.
problem. Hey, so it's International Women's Day. We're celebrating women all around the world. Is there a woman that inspires you?
Well, I think it's a collective. I mean, a lot of women inspire me. I meet them all the time in Singapore, and I hear their stories, and I connect with them at a very, very deep level as well. And they mentor, right? I mean, friends do mentor you as well, and they give you advice that no one else dares to give you. And sometimes you do need that perspective. I think for me, a lot of great women in their own disciplines, such as lawyers and doctors, they're fantastic. They set out to change the world. I think some of these women are innovators as well in Singapore, and I'm just shocked at how many amazing women there are here. I can name a few. I mean, you have your founder of Love Bonito. I think she's done fantastic. I'm going to meet Jamie of Brass Lion for a catch up. Again, she set on this vision to create Singapore's local gin, found a distillery place, and just set out to do it.
I didn't know Brass Lion was founded by a woman. Wow, that's really good gin, actually. Very, very delicious.
Yeah, I've tried it as well. I know it's a brand, started in Singapore,
yeah.
but wow. Oh my God. We're celebrating
again,
so much on International Women's Day for sure.
It's nice that women are coming together as well, sharing their ideas, collaborating, exchanging ideas, and also I think that zest for innovation and business, learning from each other, sharing what sharing from your own experience and your background as well.
That kind of community is fantastic.
It
Yeah, and you brought
is.
it up early on as well. Getting all these warm, fuzzy feelings. So here's a fun one. You deal with desserts all the time, creating all these beautiful desserts. Is there one dessert that you could eat all day, every day?
Only if it's a very, very well made one. And that would be like,
She got standards.
yeah. I would say that my go-to dessert is coconut ice cream with red rubies. So it's simple, but it's got like this beautiful combination of like
It's quite
coconut,
Thai.
rose.
Yeah.
You know, and I love the texture of it.
Where's your go-to spot for that?
Oh, most Thai restaurants do it really, really well. Yeah.
Oh gosh, I
Which
gotta
one?
have it.
Which
Like,
one?
now?
So for me, it's a very humble spot. It's actually in Newton Circus. It's like a hawker. It's a hawker store, and they do great Thai food, very reasonably priced. So that's my go-to spot. It's right in front near the car park.
Okay, now you know where to find Janice on a hot day. Newton Circus. All right, we're going to be going back live on air on 91.3. Thank you so much for joining us on Facebook and YouTube. We hope you are loving our conversation. Remember, you can send us your questions. Just punch it in and we'll get them answered for you by Janice Wong, doing us proud on the little red dot here in Singapore. And she's so smiley. I love it. I love the chocolate sea salt cookies, by the way. I finished them in 2 days. Did not
send you
tell
more.
my husband. There's no more?
I gotta send you more.
Oh, yes, please. Did not tell my husband about them. He doesn't know they exist.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
how
sorry, I
you do
didn't-
it. No, that's how you do it. Just eat it all up. Then, did it really exist? No. Right? Just make sure you clean the crumbs off. You know what I mean?
Also, he was very busy that day.
Oh, yeah. Understand.
All right, we're headed back live on. The sounds of Roxette and Listen to Your Heart here on 1FM 91.3. Carol and Lavinia with you on the Brightside, joined by Janice Wong this morning on International Women's Day. Janice, is that something you would do a lot? Listen to your heart when you're approaching business, embarking on a new collaboration, etc.?
Yeah, I mean, I do that quite a lot. I think for me, the business has always been able to evolve together with culture and times, and that's the most important. I think if your mindset is open and able to just adapt, that is actually our greatest strength.
Nice.
They speak about how adaptability is such a key thing nowadays, especially, coming out from the COVID pandemic.
Yeah.
So it's really good to hear that coming out from you, Janice, about that's an important thing if you want to, go into the F&B business. In fact, are there any tips, like maybe 3 tips you want to share for those who want to venture into this F&B business? Is there anything you would have done differently?
Well, it hasn't really changed much, the F&B business stats, for the last 20 years. And it's still as brutal as when I first started.
Ooh, brutal. That's a big
Brutal.
word. Yeah.
And, it's extremely competitive. So you really have to be able to adapt. It's fantastic when you first open. Everyone loves something new. The difficult part is to maintain. I think the focus should not be only just on the opening, but actually on the maintenance of it. What happens after the next 5 years, and how are you going to take your brand through the next 10?
Wow.
What is your end game? I mean, do you plan to exit, or you plan to continue building? So these are some of the things you definitely need to think about, and not just open a cafe for the love and passion of it. I think you need to really think through, because people will follow you. If you're a great leader, people will be there with you and stick it through with you as well. Well, the second tip will be, to really be different. I think in this time where it's so competitive, you need to be able to set a platform to adapt. I think for us, we've been very blessed. Again, it's like an open concept, a lot of transparency in what we do, but we've been able to connect with people. And again, that's our second strength, like really just connecting with the public, with chefs, the community. And we then know how to do better and how to be relevant to this times. And the third one, I would say, is just really to be very disciplined and focused. I think for me, there's very little time for play, but when I play hard, but I guess all these years, it's been 17 years doing this, and I still love it to this day. And for me, the passion is still on fire, But I just really think that, you need to be extremely focused right now because it's just so competitive.
I like how your eyes light up, your face lights up whenever you talk about this passion. You're still enjoying what you're doing after 17 long years. We were talking about how 2 a.m. Dessert Bar had its very humble beginnings at Holland Village. And if you've been there recently, you can see the amount of changes in Holland Village. But 2 a.m. Dessert Bar still there. I remember the story you shared with me many years ago when you were first starting out, about how you found this place. It was, the last place that was possibly available in Holland Village at the right budget. And you just went for it, and you were actually looking really hard for this place as well. Now, it's taken you places, of course, this spirit of collaboration, networking, trying new things, innovation. And you're currently collaborating with the Van Gogh Immersive Experience over at Resorts World Sentosa, where your creations have become works of art as well, as they've always been. Can you tell us more about this project?
Well, it's a very, very lovely project. It's an 8-month project. And so we basically set on the phase 1 of it, which is really to release some of our cakes and ice creams. I had the most fun creating the ice cream because they were all not based on flavor, but the artworks.
Yeah.
So like one of the really cute artworks, I love it. And it's potato and chestnut.
I saw that one. Everything just looks like Van Gogh's painting in
Really?
an ice cream tub.
Oh, but that sounds interesting. Potato and chestnut.
Yeah.
Very, very cool.
So we took inspirations from the paintings and we basically created flavors out of it. So potato and chestnut was one, but there was also obviously the sunflowers, the irises, and they're just beautiful. I think Van Gogh is such an icon in our generation and all the generations. And I think that has really inspired a lot of different disciplines, not just only me as a chef, but as an artist as well. So second phase, we're basically going to introduce high tea sets. You can paint your own.
Wow.
Yes. There's a lot that you can do with, imagination.
All right. So on that note, right, what kind of projects and collaborations get you excited and inspire you the most?
I think right now, having done this for so long, we've had the good fortune to actually explore a lot of other projects, such as consulting for hotels and Maldives and Thailand and at different places, and that is what excites me most because that one there, it's like you're creating sweet experiences for different places and different culture. And then you get to touch people. So I recently went to Maldives, the Nautilus, and I was tasked to create a full suite experience for all the guests. But some were so touched, they wrote me love notes. I mean, it was like, and then sent to my room. And I think these are the things that, you realize that, you're able to make change. But I think the second thing that excites me most is the power to make change. And that circular economy is what is so, so precious. Because right now we're in this position where we have different types of diverse projects. We're able to choose where our raw ingredients are from, and we're able to empower women as well. So one of the projects I have is actually supporting women farmers in Colombia, because we have the power to say, okay, I'm going to purchase 1,000 kilos of cocoa from this single estate farm. I'm going to be able to give you $3,000 US dollars per year just to support your family. So these are all the things that we're doing right now for the last 2 years. It's getting better. And I'm very excited for my next project in Peru, where we get to even support even more women. There are about 56 women in this estate that's working and growing. And so we're able to kind of empower them. And I think this is what's going to take me through the next 5.
Wow.
I think on behalf of the whole world, women everywhere, allow me to humbly thank you for all that you do, Janice.
Saving the world one chocolate tree at a time.
I love that.
Actually, we're going to take a little break. We're going to go into a song and come back with more of Janice Wong in just a bit to find out what she's doing, especially with cocoa here in Singapore. You got a cocoa tree in your backyard. You just, you might want to stay tuned to find out what you can do with it. That is next. Okay, just now? Okay. Hello! Okay, so we'll go back on air and talk about the cocoa trees. But for our Facebook crew, hello, and thank you so much for hanging out with us on this
very good
International
morning.
Women's Day. Back to some fun stuff.
Okay. So, you're on a deserted island, Janice.
Deserted island?
A
Get it?
deserted island with
Yes.
dessert. Okay,
Yes,
Ken. Name 3 people you would like to be stranded with on that island.
Goodness.
Oh.
Oh no. You caught me off guard with that.
Okay, you think about that. How about we start with something a little bit easier? 3 things you would bring with you to that island?
Well, I'm a very simple person, and I guess now I've kind of learned the sweet art of doing nothing.
Ooh,
and it's so difficult to just do a digital detox. So if I'm on an island, I would actually just go with a book. I was recently reading The Untethered Soul.
Okay.
So I would kind of just take a book. I would take a shawl, a blanket, sunblock for sure.
Practical, okay.
Very practical.
Yes, your skin.
And
Sun damage is real, people. Sun damage is real. Yeah.
and I think, I think I can't live without I guess a nice bottle of whiskey. How about that?
Oh, I love it.
I
love that. Okay, you can pick me as one of the people you want to be stranded with in life. Because when she said like the whiskey, I'm like, I'm there, girl.
She's touching all 3 things, something for your mind, something for your body, and something for your spirit. Something for your spirit.
You are right on that.
What about the 3 people? I mean, aside from Lavinia and myself, okay, who are the other 3 people you'd like to bring on this island?
I think for me, it's I would say my loved ones. I think in life you rarely spend a lot of time with family because of work. So for sure, I would say my family. There's only 3 of them.
Okay,
brother, father, mother. That's
just nice.
Just nice.
Yeah.
See, global, global outlook, local roots.
Yeah,
How
and so
amazing is
humble.
that?
I mean, despite all your achievements, it's so telling from her answers.
Talking about your family, how do they feel about your achievements and your accomplishments?
Well, they've always been my pillar of support, and they still are to this day. Sometimes they can't understand, the extremely long hours of work. So I guess now that, I've done it for 17 years, you find a lot more balance in your work schedule and also a lot of clarity. So for sure in the past, they were like, why? There was a lot of whys.
Yeah. Because you worked so hard at the beginning to build everything up, right?
I guess so.
Yeah.
When you're very, very passionate, you throw it all, and you keep on going. And certain things, you have an idea and you want to realize that idea immediately.
Okay. And how have you roped any of them in to help you out with the business yet?
No, not at all.
Wow.
No. We don't mix family and work.
Okay, that's wisdom right there. That's maybe a tip as well. Because I know a lot of businesses, they actually, it's a family. I mean, if it started out as a family-run business, then yes, everyone's involved and it passes down. But sometimes, I think some people are in it, cut costs or, just to keep their overheads even lower, they rope in their family members.
Yeah, it's always very admirable if you can actually work with your loved one or your family all day long. I think there's a great balance in that as well. Some people can, and I admire that. But I know that I'm very, very focused at work, and I kind of want to separate that as well.
Yeah.
So it's very important.
All right, so you started out with 2 a.m. dessert bar, and then you went into chocolates, you had Starter Lab. What is next, actually? You were talking about what's coming up in the next 5 years. What are some of those things?
Yeah, some of the markets that we really want to focus on is actually Dubai and Saudi Arabia.
Okay.
I think we had many opportunities in the past. We never took them. And I guess now is the right time and right place because it was so exciting going back into Dubai recently. I was just excited by the energy there. And actually the Van Gogh inspiration was actually also from Dubai.
Wow.
We went to the exhibition there. We thought it was amazing. I told Michael, I'm like, hey, dude, you got to bring this to Singapore as well. It's so amazing. So it's really, really fantastic.
Did I hear you right? You are the reason why
No,
this
I'm
is
not the
here?
reason.
Oh my
No.
gosh.
Janice, we can't thank you enough.
Lavinia, you gotta go
no,
catch
it's
it
like
very
you-
soon. Okay, we're gonna head back live on air in just a few moments, and we're gonna be talking about your projects here in Singapore, about the cocoa trees, and things that are fueling you. I mean, more of what you're fueling you in the next 5 years. I mean, I like that you've got like a long-term vision for things. That's something I don't really have. Like, I want to start something, I'll do it now, and then 5 years later, that's too far away. I don't think so far.
I think most people think that way, but it's great that you brought it up as one of the tips, planning ahead. Don't just be stuck in this moment of now and look forward, because I guess you need to start planning about your legacy, how you want to approach things.
Yeah.
All that takes time, right?
Yeah, we'll head back on air to chat more. Give me a second. You too.
2 parts wit, 3 parts fun, and ooh, heavy dose of laughter.
The Bright Side with Carol and Lavinia on 1FM 91.3.
Good morning, good morning. How you doing? It's Carol and Lavinia with you. Joined in the studio this morning, especially on International Women's Day, by Singaporean entrepreneur, artist, chef, chocolatier, Janice Wong. Welcome back, Janice. So glad to have you with us. Thank you for taking time on this very special day to join us and to inspire us all. We're also on Facebook and YouTube Live, okay? So head on down, facebook.com/1FM913. Find out what's happening behind the scenes. Janice is absolutely glowing every time she talks about, her passion projects. Her face lights up. She's been doing this for 17 years and still so passionate. So Janice, you're about to tell us about, you're telling us about projects in Peru and Colombia and now in Singapore as well. You're doing something really special with cocoa trees and beans.
Yeah, I guess it never came across to me at all to give back to schools. I mean, that honestly would be the last thing on my mind. No offense, but I guess we're so busy with building the brand and the business. Any women out there or any entrepreneur out there would do that, and I guess giving back would kind of be like at the end of the road or your retirement. And I never thought it would be so soon. But, pandemic has changed a lot for us. And we knew the first thing we needed to do was to give back to the community. And so I decided to teach. Gave a lot of free webinars, how to make caramel, for example.
Wow, yes.
There's a 8-minute video on how to make the perfect caramel on YouTube. And I guess for us, it's that give back and teaching people how to make cocoa, where cocoa is from. So food source, of course, is so important here. And also making sure that education is given to the right people. And we just had the good fortune and found the right people. I think there's this guy who had a lot of cocoa trees in his backyard, and he didn't know what to do with it. And
like here in Singapore?
Here in Singapore, yes. During the pandemic, I met him. And I said, let me do this. Let me help you. And so I called principals. I picked up the phone and I started calling friends after friends, and I got a lot of rejection. Can you imagine? Wow. They were like, oh, no, cocoa trees. No, there's like pests. But there was one principal that just really pushed the boundary. He's like, I'm going to adopt 45.
Wow. 45.
And for me, I have to go in, teach the kids how to grow it, what cocoa is about, and it's life changing because as a child, if I've seen cocoa in Singapore, it will completely blow my mind.
Yeah.
I'm like, there's pots here, how does this even come up? So I think that was just fantastic to be able to put that in Spectra School. And because of that proof of concept, now other schools are on board too.
That's amazing. I love that nothing is beyond you. Like, you're so well known all around the world for your food and your desserts. And yet nothing is stopping you from picking up the phone and calling schools and principals to let me plant some cocoa trees in your garden. Love that about you. And I love that this project is also flourishing. To date, we have about 200 cocoa trees here in Singapore. Are you planning for more?
Yeah, so there's a lot that are quite young. They're in the nursery, so they need about a year more. So usually it'll be 1.5 years before we plant them into the ground. So those in the ground now, it's doing quite well. I would say there needs to be a lot of care for it as well. So recently, last week, we went down to see the trees, and yes, there's a pot. I mean, that's so amazing, to have planted it with the students a year and a half ago. So now the tree is about 3 years old and pots are growing, which means we have shown proof of concept, which is fantastic. It's a long, long way to go because a tree would kind of mature in like 7-8 years. You get really good fruits. It's not an easy project, but you kind of just need a lot of patience.
But I can just imagine, just the delight on the kids' faces when they actually see literally fruits of their labor.
Yes.
These pods coming out. And down the road, it was so engaging for them to actually learn how it gets made into chocolate itself. Wow.
All right. We're going to go into a song. It's Bryan Adams' Run to You, like the way we run to chocolate. And coming back, Janice is going to give us some tips for female entrepreneurs. Hang tight. It's 1FM 91.3. Okay, let's see if we have any questions on social media coming through. Okay. Pardon? Oh, everyone's wishing us a happy International Women's Day. Thank you so much.
Oh, same to you guys. Same to you guys.
Janice is like the perfect person this Wednesday morning. I mean, you embody so much about the entrepreneurial spirit, not just as a Singaporean, but as a female as well. You know, doing things around the world, but also making sure, that your roots are very well grounded here in Singapore as well. So I love that about you. Thank you so much for doing that. Lavinia, do we have any crazy stuff we want to ask Janice?
Oh, okay. I'm going to put you on the spot. Let me ask you something. Which chocolate, dark, milk, or white?
Dark, always dark.
Really?
Always.
What makes a good dark chocolate a good dark chocolate?
Well, I guess I've always liked bitter, which is very rare. I've also always liked, things that are sour. So really the two different flavors and tastes. Two different tastes, and it's different because there's also very little sugar in it. There's less sugar. Now, one day, please come and make chocolate with me.
Oh
from
my gosh!
scratch.
I would
From scratch.
From the bean.
From the bean, you
Where
make your
can you
own.
do that?
Great Wall City.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah, so we do
Can we
a lot
come
of
after
classes.
this? Like 10 o'clock, we finish.
For sure.
You're free now.
I'm ready. Just give me some gloves. I'm there.
I love that. Like you say, as a kid, I only discovered how chocolate was made in my 30s. Very sadly, I didn't know where it came from. I thought it was like a berry, like the coffee berry or something, but no, it comes in the nibs, and you've got the plants, and they just fall to the ground. I think oftentimes in certain countries, they just fall to the ground, just lying there. Nobody knows, like it's just pods of gold.
Oh, is that so?
Yeah.
Oh, tell me which country I go and collect. Bring back for
Janice
Janice to
will
process. Yes. No, but you spoke about this, about how understanding your food source is very, very important. So, I mean, I'm learning so much from Janice from this as well.
Yeah.
But, it's interesting for you how you always talk about, I'm needing to learn more. I'm always constantly learning. But for you to go all the way to understand like where your cocoa beans come from, how to process it and all that, you're very hands-on with the whole thing. Where did this mentality come from, Has it always been like that for you as a child?
I guess so. It's I used to be in professional sports, so I think that really, really helped.
What did you do?
I played squash for like 13 years of
Oh
my
my
life.
goodness!
Yeah,
I did
yeah.
not know that. National squash player.
So it really helped with the training. It helped, I mean, you really need to have so much discipline. So throughout my young days, my younger days, childhood, instead of just studying, you had to juggle, right, sports. And so I can relate to that. And it's tough in Singapore because you got to be smart. Not only that, you also have, if you want to be passionate about sports, you got to really juggle your time very well.
Yeah.
So I guess a lot of that came from my childhood days, and also meditating. So we were put through, obviously, visualization. You got to visualize what your next moves are. It's like playing a game in your head.
Yeah.
So we did that a lot. So I guess that training also kind of helped trickled off to what I do today.
That's interesting because Chef Carl, who we speak to on Fridays as well, also was a sports person who was into boxing and all that kind of thing. Gave him a lot of discipline, and he too now has his own setup at Serangoon Gardens at Little Farm. So yeah, there's a lot of I never thought about it that way, but a lot of the discipline that you get from elsewhere, like say for you or sports, can actually translate into your work ethic. Moving forward as well. If you weren't a chocolatier or a dessert person or like a chef, what would you be doing?
Architect. I've always loved the idea of change, right, and the power to do it. And I guess and it's always inspiring, right? If you can just even make that small little change in somebody else's lives, why not?
Yeah.
So I thought I could do it through architecture.
Is that still something on the table for you?
Well, we're called architects of dessert.
Ooh, love that.
Oh, there she goes, achieving everything she wants to do in life.
Hence
love
the
that.
edible installations. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
those are incredible.
I want to know where to go for your next edible installation. Is there one coming up at SPH Lobby anytime soon?
Yes, we do quite a few around the world. So again, we're very blessed to have the opportunity to do that. A lot of them are also private events for banks, for different type of events. So I guess the next one coming up is going to be again another private one, but stay tuned on my Instagram. I usually post it if it's a public one.
How do people reach you if they want to like collaborate with you on things like, edible art and all that?
Well, I think mostly on our social channels now. It's an open space, and again, it's open community. So a lot of people reach out.
Okay. Well, good to know that we can always also just reach out to Janice and learn how to make chocolate.
Yeah, I
The
reach out
very
and then
beginning.
see I touch her. Sounds a little creepy. Sorry about that. I have this one question. So you are where you are now in your life. What would you say to the younger you at 18, knowing all of this has happened?
Well, I would say I don't work so hard. I think I did that a lot. And I guess, I would have had a lot more work-life balance in the past, which was great. But, no regrets. I totally just dived in and I traveled everywhere. I didn't say no to a lot of things. And I was like, yes to everything, every experience. I love first experiences. So it took me to different places and I connected with so many people throughout my entire life. And I could not be more blessed than that.
What would you say is your wildest experience to date?
Wildest.
Yeah. What's the thing that just really blew your mind?
Well, I guess it's again a collective, right? I mean, just being in Peru for a week or even 10 days, that really blew my mind because I just felt completely naked there. If you understand what I mean, as a chef, you have an array of ingredients that you have no knowledge of. The names are different, the flavors are completely different. So if you put yourself in a spot like that, in a country like that, you'll be like, what are these? 500 types of potatoes and corns. Like what? And we know one type here, right? So,
Yeah, true. Okay, we're going to continue the conversation on air. We're talking about a message you have for female entrepreneurs, and we'll wrap it up there, okay?
Blonde with Joey here on the Brightside with Carol and Lavinia, and I'm so honored, so delighted to have in our studio with us.
Not Joey, but...
Not Joey, yes, no, who's Joey? We have Janice here to talk about, her business, everything as we celebrate International Women's Day. Oh, she is just the right person for today, huh?
Indeed. So, Janice, we've had an amazing chat with you this morning. Thank you so much. Before you go, or before we let you go, to make more chocolate and desserts.
I don't want to let her go. Why you let her go?
What message do you have for female entrepreneurs like yourself? What would you say to them?
I think work-life balance is very important. Go find that balance, go find that that thing that would kind of give you, I would say, that peace of mind. And whether it's getting married earlier, before you take your career off, or whether it's splitting your time with family. I think that's extremely important because when you are conscious of your work and also your sanity, I think it will take you far. You will find that you have a lot of clarity. You'll be able to make great decisions. You become a better leader, and you'll be able to inspire when you have so much clarity. So that's kind of where I am at this moment. I'm very happy that I've found this, balance. But I would say that is very important. I think if I were to tell me 10 years ago, I kind of would have done that.
How are you finding this balance today?
Well, I basically prioritize, and that is very important in women's life. I mean, we are multitaskers.
Yeah.
We have so many things on our plate, and women are overachievers. And I think that is an understatement. And, we want to do so much and so little time. But once you kind of just say, hey, what's my priority? And I think the other thing that I've done is digital detox. That is so important in our day and age. I guess it's very consuming, but once in a while, just every once in a while, just switch off your phone. And you see that it's just so powerful.
It is.
Oh, I like that. I'm going to try that. A digital detox.
Okay.
I think I need that.
5 minutes. Can you do it 5 minutes?
I'm going to try. I'll be itching, but I'll try.
All right. So once again, Janice, thank you so much for joining us today. Janice Wong, of course, is a Singaporean artist, chocolatier, chef, entrepreneur, and so much more. You can find her on her socials. What's your...
Janice Wong 2 a.m.
Okay.
and Janice Wong SG.
All right. And also, if you want to check out some of her edible artworks at the Van Gogh Immersive Experience, she's now also there. She's running a pop-up cafe, very beautiful desserts. You got to check it out. It's at Resorts World Sentosa. And of course, 2 a.m. dessert bar still at Holland Village as well. And if you go to London, look her up in Selfridges, right?
That's correct.
Very nice.
All right.
So thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you.
Okay. Hang tight. Coming up shortly, we'll have more of your favorite tunes for you from Shannon and Robbie Williams. It's 1FM 91.3 on the Brightside.
Good times. Greatest hits. 1FM 91.3.